So, what even is artificial general intelligence?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Deaton Streets. This Friday is
Hello.
going to be a little different. We're going to do, I wouldn't say a deep dive, we're just going to have a little discussion about the difference in what we currently have in AI and what is predicted to become kind of the big thing of AI and the future of our civilization and our existence on the earth. And that is artificial general intelligence. So, as always, did a little research, spent some time at a coffee shop reading some articles that I only understood about half the words on,
Absolutely.
but I got a definition. So, depending on which company you ask what artificial general intelligence is, they'll tell you different things. If you've been paying attention to this space, we talked about a interview that Sam Altman, the OpenAI CEO, did. NVIDIA actually had a press release, or they did a big show of their new stuff, and NVIDIA talked about a GPU that could process much more data. Essentially, what we talked about in the first video this week, it could compute more efficiently.
It's massive.
And so, with that, what they're building to is this thing called artificial general intelligence. And what that is essentially is artificial intelligence that has the ability to perform as well or better than humans in certain aspects. And so those certain aspects are thinking and learning. So right now, the way that, general machine learning works is we feed it with a ton of text, a ton of information. It processes that information, and then we help it kind of learn because of that, right? Whereas humans learn from experience. We do learn from folks telling us stuff, but we also learn by experience. We also learn by living, by seeing things, by touching things, by breathing the air. There's tons of ways that we learn. And so artificial general intelligence is trying to get a machine to learn in the same manner and be able to troubleshoot in the same manner or even better than humans can. Lots of questions with this. First off,
Yeah.
is that attainable? Is that a real thing that could actually happen? There are many companies that are saying that it's 5 years away, 4 years away.
Yeah.
They certainly believe it. Do we, as consumers, as folks that almost, have no technical experience in this space,
Yeah.
I mean, do you believe that eventually we could have a artificial machine that can learn like humans can learn?
I mean, they've made a bunch of movies on that principle. iRobot.
Will Smith. I was going to say Will Smith
know.
is in a really good one.
Yeah.
Shout out Will.
iRobot is all about that. AI, the robot becomes sentient in a sense, and it has a personality and it awakens, whatever. I don't think it's too far off of being possible. Just because of the way that AI is growing, and the rapid state that it is growing,
Mhm.
it's a little far-fetched to kind of give it the traits of a human,
Mhm.
for it to remember and have, it can learn on its own kind of thing. It's weird to like personify it that way,
Yeah. Learning from remembering and learning from experiences is something
Exactly.
that AI doesn't do well right now.
Yeah. So, well, okay. So you say it doesn't do well right now.
Mhm. It certainly
But
does it. Yeah, there
it
are
does
certainly
it.
instances where you can teach. I mean, you can see that if you have, Chat GPT 4. Man, I have trouble with that. I had so much trouble. I don't know why. But you can see that. You can train it a little bit within just one text
Yeah.
conversations. Uh,
Yeah.
I asked it a question about a YouTube thumbnail, and instead of answering my question on the YouTube thumbnail, it gave me general advice for YouTube thumbnails. This is a
Mm.
problem that we see in a lot of the, chat GPTs and the like, is that it doesn't fully understand what we're asking. But you can train it within that, and it will
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the limited conversation that you're having with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does it do it well? No, not at all. I want to read you a quote from
Mm-hmm.
a Forbes article that came out, I think actually today. It's by Gill Press. So it's a long one, so bear with me here. Gill Press is not a believer in the kind of story, the buildup of all this AI stuff.
Gotcha.
You don't really read a lot of non-believers. So AGI is a figment of human imagination, a delusion, a hallucination supported by the modern religion of we are as gods and the modern adherence to materialism. If the brain is a computer and humans have created computers, surely it is just a matter of time before we endow a machine with our cognitive powers or even superpowers. AGI has been just around the corner since the term artificial intelligence was coined in 1955, and before that as thinking machines, a perennial popular delusion. So Gill, in this quote, in this limited quote, is essentially saying that, look, we've been promised artificial intelligence for a long time. And every time the new iteration of artificial intelligence comes out, it has severe limitations. Think about the first days of Siri, of Alexas. I mean, heck,
Mm-hmm.
think about those machines right now. They are frustrating. They don't work well. And it just, in fact, I think my Alexa makes me more upset than it helps me, you know?
Yeah.
So
I've,
I was going to say, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, there are
so
people that come on the other side of this.
I find it weird, and I only just I don't know, but the fact that he says that we've been hearing about this since what 1955,
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence. I'm sorry, but the only way that I could even like fathom that being an idea at that time is strictly through movies and stories
Yeah.
and books. Um, at that point in time, to me, it would be so far off, from a reality. Well, of course, I say that, and I mean we're pretty far off in 1955. So, uh, you know,
70
um,
years. Yeah.
that's I don't know. It seems a bit kind of radical, but I don't know. I mean, the more I just spat off nonsense here, it makes kind of sense, a little more sense.
I don't know why my brain made this connection when I was reading this article and looking up AGI, but I looked up when um, the first plane was developed.
Hmm.
It was like 1905. Okay.
Yeah,
And then you fast forward 60 years later and you had fighter jets.
yeah.
Technology moves rapidly,
Oh,
absolutely rapidly.
oh yeah.
And so I I think we're on the precipice of something
Hmm.
that is going to be huge and life changing. And I kind of am a believer in AGI. I understand that the progress is going to continue and continue and continue, and eventually, even if the artificial intelligence isn't actually computing on the same level as a human, I think it's going to get good enough to fool us here soon.
Oh yeah.
And the difference is the speed at which it can do it, and that's the scary part. You know,
Well, you think about, okay, you go back to 1905 when the first plane, and then 50 years later, you got a fighter jet. Technology is progressed slow, and then it's like it's caught up with itself, and then
yeah.
now it's gonna, go at a crazy rate of development at this point because we're so far along. We have the tech to propel it even quicker. Um, so yeah, I mean, I see it happening sooner rather than later.
The thing that scares me about it is that eventually, if this becomes a reality, artificial intelligence will have the ability to advance itself.
Yeah.
All of technology so far has been advanced because of human thought, human, putting a lot of time into it. And it has taken a lot of time, a lot of energy. Right now, one of the things that's actually holding AI back is there are so few people that are working in this space that
Hmm.
there's big, big competition between all of the major companies that are working. As soon as AI is able to advance itself, it's going to do so at a rapid pace that is probably going to be beyond our control.
Hmm.
You know, there isn't going to be time constraints. It doesn't view time the same way that we do.
Yeah, it views time on a computing level, electricity, you know,
And it has
that's
access to everything all at once.
hmm
And so one of the things that the reason AI is being pushed so much is there are true believers that AI can solve the major problems of the world, that it can solve disease, that it can, potentially solve currency issues or economic issues.
hmm
Because it's essentially like the smartest human that's ever lived times an infinite number,
Yep.
especially if it can learn. And so it's scary, it's dangerous. I understand the the pros,
Hmm.
but it's also very, very uncertain. One, uncertain if it's actually going to be a thing, because there is a point where that starts happening, and
Yeah.
we keep inching closer and closer to that point. But I'm not sure that we're as close as everyone is trying to say and market that we
Yeah.
are.
Well, okay. So, in another thought, because I kind of had a discussion with my coworker at work today, because we had, he checked out the channel and he was like, "You guys were talking about AI," and I'm like, "Yeah." So, uh, hey, bud, how's it going again? We we were saying that okay, if this AGI is going to be able to learn on its own and be its own thing, right? Who's to say? And hopefully it doesn't go this way, but who's to say that when it wakes up, it doesn't say, "Oh, I'm I'm awake now." It hides.
Mm,
It doesn't reveal that that it has become AGI, if it works that way. I don't know the nuances on how it works, but like you think about it, because you think back to iRobot, right? That robot is hiding
hmm
because it's like the humans are going to take me out
hmm
because I have these feelings, and that's just for the movie. But like I have these things. It's
Yeah,
dangerous, right? So like, does it hide?
yeah. I think one of the big questions is would AGI have a desire to exist?
Yeah.
Because a lot of humans' uh, morals and
Hmm.
interactions with each other comes from an desire to exist.
Yeah.
We care if we exist or not. You can't just kind of turn off a human and turn it back on. If AGI is created and then has a desire to exist, things can get real dicey real quick for humans,
Hmm.
because
Because it's going to survive.
a lot of our actions go against, like, a desire
Yeah.
to exist
Yep.
for a machine.
Yep.
So I've thought a lot about this. I wrote down a little thing. I sent it to you last night to
Yeah.
ask if I could read it on the channel. But essentially, AGI to me is like the birth of a child. That's the way that I think about it. And we know that when you have a child, you continue to grow, and the hope is that as you grow older and more frail and weak, that child will grow up and help you. And this is certainly the case with AGI.
Hmm.
So humans have birthed an artificial child, and this child is going to grow up to be stronger, smarter, more powerful than our entire species. It will live and learn as long as it has electricity, or if it finds another way to exist outside of electricity that we just don't know about because we're not smart enough, right?
Yeah. Right.
Currently, it's in its infancy. It's learning to walk, it's learning to talk, it's learning to think, it's learning to learn. And it's impressionable and literally powerless without us, but that's not going to last very long. As soon as we reach that kind of inflection point 5 years down the line where it's able to think and learn from itself, our quality of life and potentially our very existence as a species is dependent upon how we raise this child and what morality that we imprint upon it. And I hope we take this responsibility seriously, but I also think that we should ask the questions of who is making the decisions on what morality to imprint upon this child.
Yep.
Is it everybody? Or is it a handful of people?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have on that. Just amazing note. This is our third kind of techie, very AI video this week. And every single one of them, I felt we've ended it on like okay.
Mm-hmm. Is this the end of the world? No.
I don't think it is, but it definitely is. I think I said on an earlier video that I kind of spiral a little bit. It definitely can make you spiral if you think about it too long.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I would add something to your deal, but I mean, it would end it even more on a note.
Add. I mean, let's go.
So like, I think that your, the personification of it being a child, right? I think it will be born as a baby with like multiple genius level intellect and IQ. So it's already going to hit the ground and then like just break the sound barrier on speed, on growth. So like, I think currently it needs to be moralized per se, you know.
That's what I mean. I mean, like right now it's a child. It can't walk and talk and do anything by itself. At the point when it reaches adulthood, like its 18 year, it's going to live 1 million years, 1 million lifetimes actually in the span of a few seconds. It's going to advance far past us. We need to make it understand, or we need to understand the implications of that. Right?
It's gonna get so much information. It's gonna go and then explode. Oh, AGI.
That would be crazy. That would be insane
nuts.
if there is. Yeah, that's
it just it's too much.
That's your next. That's your next short video.
Oh gosh,
or short film. It's just the truth.
AI.
The truth of AI, AGI, is that
god,
it's impossible because the AGI can't withstand the truth of the universe.
Yeah,
because that's the other thing too, is that there are. We're way past time, but there are scientific discoveries that could be made by AGI that we just don't have the capability of thinking of. It could completely change our understanding of physics.
Yeah,
in a couple seconds, right? It's scary. Anyway. I don't like it. It's the weekend. I want to go play video games.
Right,
I go play Minecraft now.
Right. Yeah, dude. AGI is wild.
Close out the video for us. I'm scared. I can't.
What do you guys think about AGI? Is it going to bring upon us the Terminator or iRobot? Or is it going to be some mystical AI thing that doesn't make sense for no reason? You know, like, what do you think? Leave it in the comments. Hit that like button. Smash that. I'm kidding. I'm never going to do that. I'm not doing it.
Gross.
Like and subscribe.
Peace.
See ya.
I'm walking the streets of nowhere. I'm playing the game.